Hello, everyone. My name is Jerry Fontaine, and this is an explanation on how the order desk template works. And like I'm new to this YouTube thing, so don't expect anything fantastic as far as the way that I explain things. What has to happen when the user first calls in is we have to find out if the user wants to create an order, a quote, whether the person's calling to just book a meeting with the sales, or if they're just wanting to ask a general question like, what's the price of a solar panel? So what we collect is the current date and time, and that's used for booking a meeting, which is part of the templates from that are offered from VoiceFlow already. What's unique to this template is that we create a PDF based on order information that's collected from the chatbot. So we want to collect the current date, and then we don't want any time in that because that's not actually created onto the PDF. So I created a function for that, which is included in the document as well. So we'll jump right to the order desk. Before we continue with discussing the flow within the order desk, let me show you how to set up Craft My PDF and Zapier integration. I'll start off with Craft My PDF. Okay, let's set up Craft My PDF. I've included a video in the template that is created by Craft My PDF, which is a lot more detailed than what I'm going to show you. I'm just going to show you what I set up myself. So I'm going to sign in using my Google account. Then I'm going to go to manage my templates. And this is where my template is. You can create your own template by going into my PDF template. And then all I did here is I selected simple invoice. From there, I made some small edits. Like I added the phone, I added the HST, and I removed the discount because this particular application doesn't have any discounts. It's simple enough to add extra data. You just put the data field dot by your identifier, and then this is what you're going to input if no response is given from the back end. You can test this by going into the data tab here, and in here you would complete whatever information you would be passing to it from VoiceFlow, and then it gives you a preview. And in the preview, you'll see on how the end result will look. I've added the image here, and like I said, I've added the phone number from the caller that comes in. So that's the basic overview of Craft My PDF. One other thing you're going to need to know is when you go, you have to get the API integration key. You copy that here, and then we head off to Zapier to use that API key. Okay, moving on. Let's jump into setting up Zapier. First, you would log in. I'm going to log in using my Google account again. Once you get into Zapier, you can go into Zaps. You could have created a Zap in the beginning there. So this is the one I created that we're using in my demos. So let's go into creating a new Zap. From here, first thing you're going to want to do is add a webhook. And in the type of the trigger event, you're going to want just a catch event. Then the first action we're going to want to do is you can search for Craft My PDF, but because I used it already, it's already here. So I'm just going to select that. The type of event you're going to want is to create a PDF document, generate a PDF document. Then you have to select the account. So I'll just use by one Zap, use by zero Zaps. Let's use this one. No, we're going to have to go in with a new one to show this. So when you create a new account, then you would put in that API key that you copied. You just paste it in there, and then that'll connect to Craft My PDF and synchronize the fields for you. So when you go into configure here, this is where it populates all the fields that it's aware of at the time. When you go into testing it, you have to fill in some of these. First, you want to select the template. The template is the one that I created. You could have several templates. Once you do that, you get the rest of the data come in. And then this data right now, you don't have any webhooks. So you're going to have to actually post once from your VoiceFlow, um, your VoiceFlow function. And then once the function hits this once, then you're going to have a list of all the different selections you could pick from VoiceFlow. So we'll just leave that for now. And the next thing you're going to want to add is you're going to want to add the Gmail account in order to send out the created PDF. And here you just connect to your usual, um, the account you want to use. And then the event you're going to want to have fire is to create an email. So send an email. And then you configure and set all that up. You would do that in a lot of things. If you need me to do a video on showing you how to do that, I can do that as well. So we'll just go back to my Zap and I'll just show you some stuff in there. So we'll edit it. When I go into my PDF here, when you go into the config, once it's been posted, then you got these hooks that were actually put in there where you can add them, and then you're listed. Once you post from the function, all of these will show up under your catch hook, and then you could just map them to whatever fields that you want to map them to in the PDF being created. So that's about it for setting up Zapier. I'm also going to include a video on setting up Craft My PDF from the company themselves, which is a lot more detailed. So let's move on to discussing the function itself. This is the Craft My PDF function that I created, which is included in the template. So you'd be filling in these fields in order for it to send the information to Craft My PDF to generate a PDF. So the fields that would be entered would be the date that the quote is being created, whether it's a quote or an order. The price I hard coded just because at this point it's only a demo. And I also, this is filled in by the flow of the program, as well as these other fields are all completed by the user. The phone number is picked up by the user ID, and the email is picked up through the flow as well. You're going to need the webhook, which if you go into your Zapier file and you go onto Zapier where you created your hook, you would just copy that hook, go back into the function into the function. So you'd have to run this once, so I'd recommend just running it from here in the function and filling out the fields manually. So when you run it, you get back the success, and then when you go into your um, setup again, when you go into here and you do the configuration, you'll have these fields available right from your post. So this is what actually just came in now, so you can actually have them there and you can map them from that point. So let's start to walk through the flow and you can see how everything works. Okay, from the order desk on the original, if I go back to the user intentions here, this function right here or this setup right here will actually collect the keywords if the caller says they want to create an order or they want to book a quote. And then those triggers will send it whether or not it's going to go to the order desk. So if it comes to the order desk, the first order of business would be to welcome the user that they're actually at the order desk and ask them if they want to create a quote or an order. And then that is trapped into this variable called quote or order. It is then goes to collecting the user's name and email, which is created. I actually created a component here for that. And it's a component that I've had good success with using your phone application where it actually gets pretty good for collecting the email address, which can be pretty difficult when you're using these phone applications. But this one has worked pretty well. I even tried it out of my Tesla. I was sitting in my car and it worked just fine. So it has got a good success rate. I'm going to be working constantly on this, so stay in touch on my YouTube channel. And subscribe or whatever, because whenever I get something, I will be updating all the updates. I'm going to be expanding on this application because I'm actually going to be using it. So I'm going to try and create it in a format that it's easily customizable to whatever clients you have, or whatever, if you're a user, whatever use case you have. Let's say you're an electrician and you want to offer certain services, like you install a load center for, $1,000 or this kind of stuff. And you just ask the appropriate questions to give a quote that's appropriate for the actual question, or the intent of the user. So let's go back into the order desk. So once I've collected that email and the username, then we go ahead and collect the user's address, city, province, all their address information. I've did it in a step-by-step process here instead of trying to all capture it at once, just to help to not get too many errors. I, like, if it in the future, if I can actually make it be good and solid to where I can just let the users spit out their whole address information and just tell them, okay, include your street, mailing, your complete mailing address, and then just capture it there if they all use it. That's something I'll be working on more in the future. So once we've collected their address information, then I created this just as a simple one-off thing just to show that it works. So when we ask on how many kilowatt hours that they want, right now I'm only offering like a scenario of like 1 to 5 is the values that I have set up in this thing. So when we go into Zapier and setting up the function, then I showed you the function earlier. So in the function, then this information is all mapped. So you got to map the kilowatts to there, you got to map province to the province, and so forth. And when you run that, this will be fired off to Zapier. Then based on the response, you can say thank you for the order, and it'll actually differentiate. It'll say thank you for either an order or a quote. And then you just tell them you're going to receive an email soon. So the email address is sent to Zapier. The amount of kilowatt hours is sent there for it to add it to the quote. The date that I told you was created in the first function. The price is again just hard coded right now. It's just proof of concept. But as we go, what I'll do is I'll do an API call to either a Google spreadsheet or an Excel spreadsheet that has all the available products, and it'll dynamically grab the price from that. It'll obviously multiply it and it'll figure out the tax and everything. That'll all be soon to come. And then I'm a big believer in because of my years in programming, that you try to catch all errors. So if there is an error, you tell the person to just call me directly and we'll complete the order from that process. So I hope that gave you a good idea of using the order desk template. If you have any further questions, just please feel free to email me. Right in the template is my email address. You have a great day, and bye from Manitoba. Have a good one. Later.